Hello everybody, this is JDS Wargaming, and I'm here today to show you guys how to assemble plastic models from Warhammer 40k. And these techniques will actually work with most plastic modeling, and without too much adaptation, it'll still work with metal modeling as well. So anyway, let's get started. So these are the tools I have laid out here that we'll need today for this project. These are some little clippers. I don't know exactly what they're called, but you can kind of a special shape. And if you look right there, one side is a flush cut. Just open that up a bit. And the other side is angle. This will allow you to clip the models cleanly and leave not too much behind. Games Workshop does make these clippers. They're quite expensive for what you get. These I got at Walmart for like $3. So just look around, find something that works for you. These are not as good a quality as the Games Workshop ones, but we're only clipping plastic, so it's not a big deal. The other thing you'll need is either a super glue or plastic glue. I personally use super glue most of the time, although there's not any reason why, it's just what I do. Plastic glue works by welding, and super glue works by adhesion. The one advantage with super glue, the one advantage with plastic glue is that it's a much stronger bond than super glue does. On the other hand, super glue, if you screw up, you can actually pull the pieces apart oftentimes and redo it, or even if you just need to redo it anyway. This is just a nail file, a fine grit nail file. We'll need that later on. And these are two knives we'll need later on in the project as well. The X-Acto knife, either one of these would work. I just showed them both because I have them. X-Acto knife is probably a little better, but you know, it's okay. So anyway, let's take everything off the board here. Oh yeah, and you'll need someplace that you can work that you won't damage a nice expensive table. Anyway, so, this is what we'll be assembling today. This is the Warhammer 40k Space Marine Terminators. Awesome. I have several sets of these suckers. And I figured my army needed a few more. I'm playing Dark Angels, and the Dark Angel Codex is supposedly coming out soon. So this may be a bad purchase. I don't know yet. In any event, that's alright. So let's see what we got in the box. First of all, these are the bases. Well, we need them right away, so we'll just set them aside. Also inside the box are sheets like this. I think there's just one for this. This will show you exactly how things are assembled. So it shows you the sprue counts to make sure you got everything you need, and also a detail of how things get put together. I already know how this works, so I won't necessarily be needing it, but you can see how the bases get together and the pieces and everything. The lines mean that that's where they assemble to. Pretty easy stuff, right? All right. Moving along. What else do we got here? Let's see. All sorts of stuff. And a little base. I'll show you what that's for in a bit. For the army comes with something that I actually don't ever use, so alright. These plastic pieces right here, these are called sprues. I don't know where the name come from, but that's the name for them. They're molded together like this, and so this is what we'll be working with today. And so we also get some decals. This is for later on after you've painted the models. This is a way to kind of customize them, give them a little look with these details. I think these are, yeah, they transfer like temporary tattoos, I guess. So anyway, the first thing we need to do, now that we've unpacked everything, is we need to clip the sprues. And so I don't like to clip everything all at once. What I like to do is I like to find two pieces for each model, since this is a 5-model set. So I'll find 2 pieces for each model that are going to be glued together and then clip them all out all at once. So let me show you how I do that. So, where are the pieces I want to play with here? These. Let's do these first. These are the chest pieces. So you can bring it up here a little bit so you can see them better. There we go. So this is the back and this is the front, and the head will go in there at some point. So anyway, let's get started here. Closer to the camera. So you'll see on the model, there's a little connection right there, right? These connections are where we're going to have to clip at. These clippers are really good because they can get right in those connections. So let me just flip it over here. Sometimes you'll be able to get in at one angle, but not at another. So right there. So you just clip it just like that. The trick here is to have the flat part of the clipper towards the model piece. That way you're going to end up with a lot less something that needs to be cleaned up. Let me get this in focus. And you can see that little white spot is where the piece actually was connected to the modeling. And so, not the modeling, to the sprue. And so there was a little bit of extra material there. That's just because I couldn't quite get really close into the sprue to clip it off. And so the way you deal with that is you can take the plastic knife and you can, so I can get in here, take the plastic knife and you can just kind of trim that off very carefully. So there we go. So I'll be doing that as I go along, as I unclip these. They say you're never supposed to cut towards your hand, but oftentimes with little pieces like this, it's just impossible not to. So just be very careful when you're clipping these. All right, so I'm going to be clipping the rest of them out, and we'll fast forward the video as I do that. I'll probably play some excellent music for you guys. Okay, so we've gotten all the pieces, all of the chest and back pieces clipped out, and so let's sort them out here. There we go, there's our back pieces, and there are front pieces. It's always a good idea before you start gluing to have kind of a strategy of what you're going to do exactly. And so in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it, so I like to think about how I'm going to hold it and how I'm going to hold the other piece that goes along with it as I'm gluing. So I'm going to hold this back piece in my left hand. And let's see here. Oops. I'm getting upside down, aren't I? Ah! Of course. There we go. And it just kind of snaps in like that. Alright, so that's how I'm going to hold it. So I can hold it like that and that. So once I get the glue in there, that's how I'll be doing it, I think. Actually, I don't know. Glue surface on these is kind of weird sometimes. You're looking at where the flat different pieces connect, and so it's hard to see exactly where it is, but it's along this bottom here and along these edges. So yeah, first I want to do some cleaning. Oops, dropped something here. First I want to do some cleaning of these pieces, and what I'm looking for before I start assembling it is some of these mold lines. And so you just take the blade, you have it kind of angled towards you, and you scrape at the opposite direction you have the blade angled. So you're kind of doing it with the flat of the knife. So let me, not the flat, but there we go. So you can kind of see how I have it angled here, and I'm scraping it backwards. Like that. Kind of exaggerating the movement, but yeah, that's how we're doing it here. Some of these pieces will actually be covered up by other pieces, and so don't have to worry too much about those. There we go. Some models have worse mold lines than others, and sometimes the mold lines are actually put in intelligent places, so it doesn't make any difference in the model. But before we start assembling, that's a good idea to pay attention to those. The main one I'm most concerned about is the sprue connection on the front pieces, because that'll be easy to see even after painting, because it's right up front. This is where the emery board comes into hand. What did I do with it? I grabbed that thing for a reason. I don't know what I did with it. Did it fall on the ground there? Nope. There it is. So here we go. And so you can actually use these boards a little bit. You just have to be very careful because they do leave, they can leave marks that you don't want to be there. That's not bad. It's alright if it's discolored just a little bit. It's not too big of a deal. So I'm going to put my finished ones off to the right here. Right, I'm going to fast forward through all this kind of fine detail work, and I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, that is good enough for government work, I think. Let's start thinking about gluing here. Okay, so these glue things have a very nice nozzle on them. You'll be looking, when you're buying glue, it's always a good idea to find the one with the sharpest nozzle. Alright, so now we're going to start gluing these pieces. I talked about figuring out a strategy, a good way to hold them. And so I think I'm going to do it just a little bit different this time. So what I want to do is I actually want to put the glue on this surface because it's going to be easier to get the glue onto it. And so, hands here a little bit. There we go. With chips in the background here. Every time I want to grab one, I wash my hands because they get all greasy. So anyway, it helps to have, if I can get a good angle here. There we go. So just a little dab of glue, a little dab of glue, and a little bit of glue right there. It's really a very little bit of glue is all you need. And there we go. Now those two pieces are together. And they kind of look like, you can kind of tell what they are now. If you've seen a Terminator, you can recognize that piece. At this point, we're going to move on to the next model. I really like to do a batch method of assembling, especially when there's a lot of pieces. Even when there's not a lot of pieces, it's helpful to do batch methoding. That allows, I mean, the glue does set up, it's supposed to set up in 5 seconds. But I find in a lot of cases, like when there's a lot of extra glue there, or you've had to try to glue a couple times because it's unstable, the glue will take a lot longer to set up. And so doing a batch method allows these pieces to actually completely set up and to be sure that they're completely going to be completely secure before you pick them up again. I find that to be the most helpful on pewter models, especially because a lot of times the two pieces don't fit together really firmly, and so you're just kind of hoping for the glue to hold it all together. All right, so anyway, let's move on to the next piece here. Do the same thing. So a bubble of glue. So a dab of glue, and then a dab of glue. Don't worry too much about getting on your fingers. It'll happen. You know, I've glued a number of pieces to my hand, especially doing that. Oh, there we go. Just make sure when you do that, you don't touch any other skin. You just let it harden. You can see I got a bit on my finger earlier. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not good to have a lot on your skin, but it doesn't actually cause too many problems. It's just, it'll take a day or two and it'll wear off. There you go. Not like I'm trying to encourage everybody to start gluing their fingers and stuff, so don't do that, kids. It's bad for you. Let's see. I still like to hold a bigger piece. Let me see if I can see how this works. So I'll put a glab of glue right there. How are we looking there? Right there. It's a little bit more glue than I like, but that's okay. Make this work. And then we hold it together for a few seconds. And count to 5-ish so. Then we set it down and we move on to the next piece. Pretty easy stuff. I'm not sure if I'm very happy about this applicator because it keeps putting little bubbles. Oops, which is a little awkward. Games Workshop makes glue for this as well. They make both the you know, the super glue style glue, and they make the plastic glue. I wouldn't. They're a lot more expensive than you're going to get on any other brand, and the only thing you really get special with their brands is you get probably a better bottle and a better applicator. But that's not even necessarily universally true. You can often get really good applicators in the private market. Super glue is super glue, you know. All right, and this is the last torso to go together. There we go. That is my batch method for gluing. Now, there's a whole bunch of other pieces, like you got the arms. Well, we got these, which are basically little additions and a rocket launcher, or missile launcher. Is it a cyclone missile rack or something? Yeah, it's a cyclone missile rack. Let's see. So for these models, the next thing I'd probably do would be the legs. So let me clip those out. I'll fast forward through this next section. So here we go. We got our torso pieces. So let's bring this on camera so you can kind of see it. These guys are pretty easy to assemble. It's part of the reason why I chose the Terminators, mostly because I don't really need any more Space Marines, and that would be the other classic piece to show. I have 30, which is probably plenty. Actually, I guess I could field 90 if I was playing a big game, but I don't really see much point in that, you know. These round surfaces here are not actually, they're not going to be displayed, so I'm just going to hit them with a sandpaper a bit. There we go. And then I'm going to get the mold lines. Same way as before. Okay, so we've I've prepped all the pieces for the bases, for the legs, and so the process here is just basically the same. Think of a strategy on the way to hold it. So this piece is pretty good. This is where I'm going to put the glue, and since I am right-handed, I'm going to handle the glue with my right hand. This piece over here, since this is going to be receptacle, this will be in my left hand. So we just put a dab of glue in the bottom there. This will actually provide a little extra strength to hold together the base there. And so you can kind of twist this and turn this in any way you want. Like if you kind of want the model to be turning left or right, you can do that to a degree as well. Here, this is how you pose the models. There we go. And honestly, that was actually probably a lot more glue than I really needed, but that's okay. That's probably more reasonable. I'm gonna have him turning to the right just a little bit. Kind of turning and leaning, I guess. So now it's starting to look like a real person, right? Alright, so I'm not going to do the whole thing on camera. Let me just clip some arms off here so I can kind of show you how those do it. And then I'll clip the shoulder pads off. I'll just do one model worth of arms. So these right here are the whatchamacallits. They are storm bolters, that's right. I swear I play Space Marines. I should know these things. So there we go. That's one arm. And the other arm, he's going to have, let's say, just a regular power fist. So these sprues actually will oftentimes contain a lot more pieces than you actually need. So don't feel bad that you ended up with extra pieces. That's in fine tradition of Warhammer 40k. Always extra pieces. So it's not going to be the commander, so it's not even that one. This is the if you'll notice, these come in sets of 2. Wait, I think. Let me take a look. What am I doing here? Okay. Well, there's left ones and then there's right ones, and so I'm trying to remember exactly how they go. I always get them wrong the first time I do, and I've had to tear these things apart a couple times. Okay, so you can see in here, in this demonstration thing. It's a technical term, folks. This diagram here, you can see that little notch right there, like that, is facing forward. And so I'm going to need 2 pieces that notches facing in the right direction, essentially. So I'll just clip one out at random, and we'll see what that is. All right, so you can see the notch there. Maybe you can't see it on my hand. There we go. It's hard to see right there. So right there is that notch. So this means that we have the piece for the model's left arm, or the right arm when you're facing the model. So I'll just put that to the right so I remember. And then need another one. I think yeah, okay. So some of them are decorated, some of them are not decorated. I think the non-decorated ones are the ones that are on the left arm, or the model's right arm. So I don't know if you can see that there. So there's that notch. So that's the left arm. Okay, perfect. That's what we need. All we need to do now is finish assembling. So let's take this guy here, this guy with a jaunty attitude. And the first thing we'll need to do is put on the arms. So there we go. You can kind of tell what way's up, obviously. I mean, the thumb's on the top and he has his fist closed, so that works out. And so we'll put a dab of glue on this little thing here. This is actually pretty handy because it allows you to pivot it after you glued it. And it kind of gives you a nice little guideline of where to put it. You can have the fist raised. In this case, I'm not going to do that because it makes gluing the shoulder pads a little harder. So you can see how the arm went on there. Ta-da! Not focusing on camera. There we go. Nice camera, but it just doesn't like to focus when I want it to. We'll do the other arm. Oops, that's a little extra glue there. That is okay. We won't worry about that too much. These aren't showpieces, so if you're gonna start making showpieces, then you probably don't want me to have a demonstration on how to do it. There we go. There we go. He's pretty assembled right now. He just needs a face. So let's find a face for him. Actually, you can do shoulder pads and a face. So let's put the shoulder, well, let's find the face first. That'll give it time to glue a little bit. They have a lot of faces. I don't even, do you have extra faces in this one? You have one extra face. Okay, well. Okay. Nope, you don't have any extra faces. Never mind. You just got to use what you got. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. We got cut off just a minute though. I actually ran out of film on my little camera here. Or rather, well, not film really, but space. So anyway, I got the shoulder pads on. They have this weird thing where the front is front. I don't even know. Did I talk about the shoulder pads? Yeah, I did talk about the shoulder pads, didn't I? I don't know. If I didn't, then too bad. Yeah, so this is essentially finished. All I gotta do now is attach it to a base. I have some special bases for these, so I'm not going to actually attach these to the bases that came with them. So you can kind of see how they just kind of sit there. Let me see if I can find those other ones. Oh, there they are. So these are acrylic bases, not acrylic, but specialty bases that I picked up at my friendly local gaming store for probably $10 or so, something like that. I think they actually add a lot to the model, and so I'll be using these probably. They just work the same way. Just glue them down, just like we've done everything else. So yep, that's been the how to assemble Warhammer 40k models. Every model is going to be basically, every other model is basically going to be the same. Each one of them is going to have their own particular peculiarities. You can see on the focus here. You can see on the very top of this guy, that little flat spot. That would be for a missile rack, I believe. Yeah, the missile rack. All the models have it, but you only get one missile rack per squad. So I don't know. These are pretty easy to assemble, which is part of the reason why I chose them. The other reason is because I needed more. I want to have 6 squads of them one day and just to march up and kill. Alright, well, if you guys have any questions, be sure to let me know. I have a lot of fun doing this, and I'll be planning on doing some more videos in the future. So this has been JDS Wargaming, signing out.